RiceMuncher here, 1v1. Outer reaches, blue side. Crewfinity is a Mekboy, teleporting commander that fights range combat, puts out some good damage, can also support, disrupt, build structures, and repair. And up against, on the red side, is RiceMuncher, force commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt, and support with buffs. Searching for the Mekboy, no turns away, gonna get that wreck point there. Good old outer reaches then have this contested VP all the way up in the northeast corner with naturals towards the northwest and the southeast. Always seen as relatively big. We do have these very... Oh, he's got double sluggers up, as Crewfinity is going to say. We have these very dangerous areas here where you see a lot of retreats coming through, and double sluggers might be able to benefit from that greatly with some model killings, maybe some squad wipes. We will see. Double scouts, so RiceMuncher most likely at least one shotgun off those guys into some devastators as soon as he can. Maybe double devastators. We'll see if Crewfinity gets double shooters up to help melt those scouts from range. Mekboy does some good DPS by himself though, so maybe he won't bother and try and get the quick war truck up. War truck allows you to escape from the terrifying thunderhammer, of course, of the force commander. Those double sluggers will be able to duck inside it. Always like this little central area on this map. Leads to some interesting plays, and RiceMuncher is going to need to be very careful. Try and keep these units towards the right side of it so he can see those sluggers coming, trying to get into that retreat path and not get caught so often. Mekboy teleports in to tie up the tactical marines, allowing the sluggers to approach a lot more freely. Some good play there from Crewfinity. Although he's now getting chased down by the force commander, and he's going to chase him down with that bolt pistol and chainsword hits. Might be able to finish him off. We see the tactical marines being chased off, and these are some dead scouts. Are the other scouts going to get away though? I think that was a mistake retreating there. He should have just ran them around the long way. Would have been a bit longer, but he would have saved that model, I think, maybe. Although he did get away with 2 models, so perhaps he just judged it well. Sluggers now moving up to have a look at his power. Do they have any burners on the way? We do have burners on the way for one of the squads. Tactical Marines coming back out of base and shooting things up. Force Commander is going to decap this almost fully matured wreck point. Wreck points will fully mature up to plus 30 wreck per minute in a 1v1. Killing some sluggers here. Might be able to get some more on retreat. We do have burners for both squads now. I don't see any retreat melee killing. Here are the devastators as expected. Doesn't look like he's going to replace the scouts quite yet. I don't think there is some benefit to replacing them because they'll really help you control that northeastern contested point, just skirting around the edges here with their foot speed. Look at them go. Going to go after it now, I think. And Tactical is going to come to this contested power and cap it. Mekboy, oh, he's got his big shooter up. That's going to help him peel off those scout models with that almost 38 piercing DPS just from this one fella. Shooters will most likely be fully upgraded in tier 1. We do see the knob leader on the way. They can get their big shooters as well, of course. Gives them 2 in the squad when they upgrade it. And knob leader gives them that much tougher model with a good range weapon and also a ranged buff for the whole squad in tier 2. I believe it's a 15% range increase once they hit tier 2 if they have their knob leader. No shotguns for the scouts. In fact, they're getting a sergeant instead first. Grenade, also a very good deterrent for double sluggers trying to run into combat, of course. Look at that. Look how quickly he killed that scout model there, the Mekboy. Pretty damn good. I think RiceMuncher either needs to get some more scouts with shotguns or some more devastators up in tier 1. He can't just go like this. I mean, he's got triple generators up. He might be thinking of assault marines here, which is obviously risky against sluggers. But oh, look at this. Speaking of sluggers, they are getting ready to catch these guys in retreat. The force commander doing the best he can to knock them around, but I think these are some dead devastators here. They're going to be very lucky to get away. They do not get away. RiceMuncher is already getting some more devastators up, but that is a brutal loss there. I was going to say he might be thinking of assault marines because they scale so well with their merciless strike and their Vanguard veterans upgrade. Although they would be a risk in tier 1, they'd do very well in tier 2 onwards, I think, alongside that Thunderhammer Force Commander, especially if he gets his Sacred Standard up and buffs them with For the Emperor and that kind of thing. 429 to 490 on the VPs. RiceMuncher doing a good job controlling VPs right now. Crewfinity is kind of blobbing up, which Orks tend to do because they want the benefit of their war, and sluggers will stick together most likely. But it's kind of falling behind in terms of grabbing this VP here, Crewfinity. Shooter boys don't have their big shooters yet. Wonder if we get some Storm Boys up, Crewfinity. That'd be cool to see, because it does look like RiceMuncher is getting double Devastators up despite losing one. Needs to be careful where he puts these guys. Again, he's pushing them up a bit too far to the left, I think, although he should be able to see anything trying to get around, maybe. I think it's unnecessary to go there. Got to be a bit more careful. Got caught on retreat twice, going through that area, and sluggers again are trying to get around to the area. Look at that. And we still have no shotguns. I think it's a very worthy purchase at 15 power here. Help you on those, because if something gets caught in retreat, the scouts can just move there quickly, shotgun blast, and you might save the squad. Force Commander on capping duty again, doing a good job keeping pressure on this wreck point. He's done a lot better in terms of capping, I think, than Crewfinity. Crewfinity usually runs in, has a good engager, but then needs to get out because of damage taken or losses. Shooter boys are getting their big shooters up, and there is the Dakar. The big shooters themselves have more DPS and more range. They have a different firing pattern, I believe, as well. Devastator's catching some sluggers trying to move in, but again they're going to get flanked here. Need to be careful. There he goes, he turns, he sees it, and now these guys won't get in. But they can get in, but they'll take a hell of a lot of damage if they try it. There we go. He needs to get the Librarian up, surely, and Crewfinity, I think, should get the War Truck in tier 2, but we'll see. He might want the Weird Boys Foot of Gork and stuff to put pressure on those Devastators, and just that basic attack, which does fantastic work against setup teams. Mekboy teleports around to ignore the cover of those devs, and does some good work, gets them off the field. He is going for the Weird Boy here. Crewfinity can get the that speed, the warpath, that's it, the speed buff thing for the Weird Boy too. I think the War Truck would have been good though. You might force one of these devs to get a las cannon up, or at least those tactical marines to get an expensive missile launcher. Maybe he could get both. But I expect he's going to go tier 3 with the Weird Boy, unless he loses stuff. Scouts in trouble? Nope. These Devastators in big trouble. Such a massive risk putting them there. They are getting caught down. They're not even moving. They're going to go down. Massive, massive risk. The third time he's been caught in a poor position, really, by the sluggers. I don't think there was any real reason to be over there with these Devastators. Obviously trying to support the scouts and cut off this approach coming up this left side, but was it worth it? No, obviously he lost his Devastators. We have a Nob Leader for these fellas. This guy's pretty nuts, like 350 hit points, 60 odd DPS, power melee on that guy. Really makes your sluggers all the more scary. And we have them at level 2 already, both squads. Nice grenade. Hits the Nob Leader pretty flush there. He is a die last leader, so his damage will be kind of transferred to the other models there. Tactical Marines with a Sergeant, so we might see Stone Guard veterans up. It's a pretty quick Sergeant for these guys. Maybe he got it for the added melee prowess to defend against those sluggers, and also that awesome ability, and they shall know no fear, which gives them 50% chance of knockback on melee attacks and big damage resistance too. Reduces their speed though while he's active. Here's the Librarian. He now starts the game with Veil of Time, which is a massive buff for this guy. There it is. Using it on those Devastator models there. Allows them to move faster and shoot without setting up, which is a pretty big deal for the setup team. That takes away their big downside, really. Here they go. Ready to fire immediately. Weird Boy needs to be tied up. There we go. Don't want him firing that pretty devastating plasma cannon attack that he's got. What are these Devastators doing? Getting in a really bad position there. Had the Veil of Time, but did not move away with it. They moved towards the sluggers there. I think he was trying to set up quickly and kind of misclicked a little bit. Do you both have Nob Leaders now? You do both have Nob Leaders. Where is that Thunderhammer? It's not cheap. So he can't get it right now. Simple as that. I don't think the retreat paths are bad. They are perfectly predictable. Just got to be careful. 337, 432. I guess what players mean by bad retreat paths is punishing retreat paths. But that's part of the game. It's part of this map. Gotta play to the map. There's Veil of Time again. What is the cooldown on that ability? Seems to be able to use it a hell of a lot. This is risky again, moving in pretty close there, and gets caught by the Weird Boy. Again, I think some poor positioning from RiceMuncher. Did not recognize the threat coming in behind of the Weird Boy and the Shooter Boys, and perhaps lucky for those Devastators to get away. Now the Librarian's in a little bit of trouble. Fires off his smite, does get away. There's that awesome warp vomit from the Weird Boy. Crewfinity just positionally playing this game a lot better so far. Look at that attack hitting all 4 models. Does fire it off very slowly, but it's so worth it when it goes off. Sluggers getting in. I think they'll be alright though. Those tactical marines, yes they are. Tier 3 for Crewfinity. He's got tons of red. Could see a rocks pretty quickly. Just try and get an early rocks off and catch him by surprise, maybe as he retreats back into base. Veil of Time on the Devastators. Don't want to get too close before they set up. There we go. Nicely done. Should be able to get these guys off the field now. And Librarian can get in some melee attacks as they retreat. He's got at least 50 DPS power melee, I think, on his default weapon. Can get up to 71 DPS with his pretty awesome staff. That staff also has some decent piercing DPS from range. And a pretty useful force barrier. I'm sure he'd love to get that staff, but there's a lot of stuff he wants, and he only has a certain amount of resources. Still no Thunder Hammer. Does have the Armor of Alacrity, and it's a Knob Squad on the way for Crewfinity. Certainly not what RiceMuncher needs when you're worrying about retreat paths through this area. Tax get the decap. I mean, saying that, he still has a VP lead here, RiceMuncher. Crewfinity spent a hell of a lot of time fighting and doing well in this central area, but he's not turning it into a VP lead right now. Not coming up to this northeast and really locking it down. This is just harder for him to do so with his sluggers. Always wants to keep them together for maximum combat effectiveness, which kind of leaves the capping to his Mekboy or shooters. But they're also doing a lot for him in the engagements here. Nice grenade from these scouts. We do have the Thunderhammer in play now. I don't think he's seen a Knob Squad yet. No, they're still back at base there. 312, 378 on the VPs. RiceMuncher still with the VP lead, despite all of his losses. Crewfinity needs to be careful not to drag this game out into the very dangerous Space Marine Tier 3 without capping stuff. I mean, right here, look, he's not capping. A few seconds of idleness there. RiceMuncher, despite his questionable positioning, has been very good at getting out and capping quickly at every opportunity. I mean, he's even got this rec point decap now. Been a lot better with that. This is a bad fight for the Force Commander. Knocked over by the Weird Boy, stunned by the Weird Boy, now he's going to be killed by melee. That was a pretty solid headbutt by that Knob Squad model there. They have their Knob Leader and Mina in green. I don't have their hammers yet, but they're already pretty dangerous. Devastator's coming into play a little bit too late to save that Force Commander. Does he go tier 3 here, RiceMuncher? I guess he does. Has the red for Terminators here. I'm sure he's got his eye on some Assault Terminators with claws. Knob Squad bashing power. As of 2.7, these guys do not have full damage immunity with their Frenzy ability any longer. That's a 75% damage resistance now. It's still pretty damn high. We might see them support. Oh, Mekboy's got some proximity mines here. Don't see these things very often. They are very annoying though. Slow vehicles by 70% for 30 seconds. That is an insane debuff. Pretty specific though. Vehicles only. Usually you'd see the other abilities of his, the other accessories. Super tough beam and that kind of thing. Is that Thunderhammer doing its thing? Does have that 15% chance to knock back passively on single attacks, as well as the awesome 360 knockback on specials. Takes out a model, runs away there. Not sure why he ran. Oh, he didn't retreat, just backed off. Alright, he has alacrity, that's why it's so quick. Need to be careful here though. There we go, he recognized the threat. Now knobs now have their hammers building up that momentum damage buff there. Does it tell me what it is? 8% for 12 seconds. That's pretty mental. I think they removed the damage buff from Frenzy as well. So it used to give like a 20% damage buff, which made the knobs even more crazy, especially at full momentum on retreat and that kind of thing. Veil of Time again used pretty well on the Devastators, getting nice and close to those sluggers. Down goes the Mekboy. That's a good engagement for RiceMuncher, but can he escape the rocks here? He's trying to. Devastators should be fine with Veil of Time on them, but will the Tactical Marines live? No, Devastators retreating back into it. They should be okay though. They should be okay, yeah they are. He escaped it pretty well. Good little fight there for RiceMuncher. Nob squad coming and looking dangerous. Look at him filling up this retreat path with mines now. The Scout Sergeant will spot them though, and he will allow them to be shot down. 291, 315. If you spot mines and other such things, they will not go off when you walk over them, but stray shots and stuff will still set them off, so it's good to just destroy them when you can, I think. Weird Boy getting his warp head, that gives him the foot of Gork. He's already got the warpath, so that's going to be a lot of resources invested in that Weird Boy. He's not level 2 yet either, so he could go down if caught by the Force Commander or something. So he's tier 3, and I'm sure he's looking towards those Terminators and getting the standard up alongside them. Not sure how much the standard is these days. It's tier 2 of course at the moment. And again, RiceMuncher keeping this VP to himself pretty well. Got the VP lead, 275 to 314. Not a very big VP lead, but it's there. Crewfinity, I think, needs to commit the shooter boys up the top a little bit more, or maybe the Mekboy himself. We've got some flash kits on the way now. Can get those blasters up. I think he should have got a tank up. Get the looted tank up, because then you force RiceMuncher to invest in anti-vehicle, which he doesn't want to do. He wants to get his Lightning Claw Terminators up. What's the Librarian doing? Don't fight this. Oh, maybe fight this. He's got stuff coming in. That is an awesome special from the Librarian. Holy crap, send them flying. Swamp them used by the sluggers. That only gives them range damage resistance, I believe, so it's helping out against the scouts and stuff. Good fight again for RiceMuncher. Looks like he can deal with the double sluggers relatively well now that that Thunderhammer's up, but when he throw Nob Squad into the mix as well, gonna be dangerous. Those mines have gone. Here are the flash kits. So much DACA from these guys. I think they call their guns snaz guns, which is a pretty awesome thing to call a gun. They're pretty flashy. Level 3 Force Commander might go down on retreat here. Yeah. Look how quickly his health dropped. That's pretty crazy. 226 to 314. He's close to getting those Terminators. Oh, he lost his Librarian as well, RiceMuncher. I didn't even catch that. Maybe it happened on screen and I just derped and missed it. Can't see. Oh, there he is. There's his body. Yeah, lost that fella. He was doing really well for him too. And here come the Terminators. I would love to have his Librarian still around here. Lightning Claws are not cheap. I think they are 70-70, so he's not that far off getting them at the moment. They're going to town with their heavy melee Thunderhammers, but to fight all this infantry, they really want those claws. They will fight Nobs pretty handily 1-to-1 with their claws, especially even if they're level 4. Even if the Nobs are level 4, they'll deal with them. These guys are still level 1. Lightning Claws are on the way. And they'll come into effect in this fight, I think. Nob Squad are still in here. There's those blasters from the flash kits. Do have a chance to knock them over, as you see, but doing good damage to the Terminators, who get in some power melee attacks from the claws. These things do power melee with a splash damage component, and they rip through infantry. 175, 314. Crewfinity needs to get up and cap that VP and hold it for a little while. And look at this, fully matured wreck point now, stolen by RiceMuncher. Assault Terminator is on the prowl, going after these sluggers here, being aggressive. I think he needs to. He might want to get another librarian up though for Gate of Infinity and stuff like that, and get another veil of time for these fellas. These Devastators, which have served him well. Tactical Marines could get a plasma gun to help with the DPS against those knobs. Taking a lot of damage here, these Assault Terminators. The sluggers strangely split up. They are happy to go into this fight, the Assault Terminators, because they know they're going to tear them down. Thunderhammer Force Commanders there as well. And of course these guys are inspiring with every kill. So they're buffing the damage of the Force Commander. And any do they buff the damage of heroes? Maybe they don't actually. Maybe it's only other units. And we do see the Sacred Standard up for the Force Commander. So those Terminators are doing even more damage. 25% more. And of course you could put 40 Emperor on them for even more. I don't think I've noticed him using 40 Emperor. Maybe he wanted to make sure he could get Terminators up as soon as he got into tier 3. So didn't use his red. Wow. That's like one hit from each model and down he goes on retreat path again. How many times has he been caught on retreat? I mean, it's tough against Orks who go melee pretty hard. You can avoid some of those retreat kills, but you can't avoid all of them. Both heroes down. This Mekboy's been down for a while, I think. Does he have any pop left? No, not really. Isn't 92 pop, Crewfinity? If RiceMuncher can get a tank up, or maybe a Dreadnought to help him against the knobs, that could be pretty good. Especially if he can get Dark Exit technology for that Dreadnought up pretty quickly. Force Commander has been repurchased. Does have a decent amount of power. RiceMuncher could get a Predator relatively soonish. Just needs the requisition, really. Devastator's going to set up. Still no shotgun for the scouts. I do think that is worth it for 15 power still. Even if the knobs are frenzied and he can't suppress them with it, a knockback is always useful. Okay, Crewfinity does have 2-to-1 cap now. He is controlling that contested VP for now. Force Commanders, he's happy to run in alone here against the Knob Squad and Flash Kits. It's very risky. Especially since he has Alacrity. He does not have Artificer. Here come the Terminators though, teleporting in and joining him. Where are they going? What a fight, fellas. There we go. Frenzy on the knobs. Being knocked over though by the Thunder Hammer. And now the Terminator's getting stuck in. Force Commanders off the field though. No more Sacred Standard to support for those fellas. Devastators need to run away. There we go. They were being knocked over by the Weird Boy, I think. Knob Squads don't want this fight, I don't think. Although they do have a hell of a lot of support. And there's that Warp Vomit. Stun is the biggest weapon you can use against Terminators, since they cannot retreat out of it. And look at this damage now. The Warp Vomit completely changing that engagement. And these guys might go down. In fact, I think he is going to lose his Terminators here. Yes. He played it well. Did not panic with his Knob Squad. Look how low the knobs got. But he knew he had that Warp Vomit coming in. And takes out those Terminators, and that is a devastating blow for RiceMuncher. And there's a Rocks in base. Not looking good here. Not looking good at all. But he's not giving up. Look at this. Scout Squad getting a cap. Now they can go all the way up to the Northeast VP, I think. Crewfinity still blobbing up a hell of a lot here. I think he permanently needs something just to sit on that Northeast VP. Dreadnought on the way for RiceMuncher. He's got tons of red. Could see an orbital to stop a cap. Still has a VP lead too. Almost 100 VP lead for RiceMuncher. Crewfinity, with all the model losses, can now get another unit up. He's going for some more flash kits. Wants to make sure he can fully reinforce his knobs first, I think. These are level 3 knobs now. Wow. The Mekboy's still down. The Mekboy is still down. How to win, says RiceMuncher. Stealing the wreck point are these scouts. Nicely done. Crewfinity a little bit static here. Look at this. Could have maybe tried to hit the power. I think he just wants to sit on his VP and make it hard for RiceMuncher to take back. But he's already decapped it there with the tactical marines. Here comes the dreadnought. Starts off in this full melee state with 2 close combat weapons, 100 DPS heavy melee with a 40 damage splash per hit. And I don't think he's going to get the assault cannon up. He wants to keep this thing in melee to fight those knobs and those sluggers. It will have a 40% damage reduction against melee because of its melee resistance aura, making it a great close combat weapon to use. Gives you that melee superiority, and here's Dark Age of technology, giving it some more health and more inspiration. So because even heavy melee, which the knobs have, only does 50% of its damage to vehicles, and then you have the melee resistance aura further reducing that, just makes them very hard to fight in melee combat. And of course the heavy melee of the dreadnought will easily tear through the heavy infantry armor of the knobs. They do have that frenzy though. Also get the pretty awesome Emperor's Fist ability. I think it's called that. I always call it that. Knockback and stun. And a chunk of damage too, I believe. Devastator is going to set up here. RiceMuncher again grabbing that northeast VP. He's got a 2-to-1 cap. Somehow he has a 2-to-1 cap. Crewfinity really hasn't turned his superiority in a lot of the fights into VPs here, or map control in general. I mean, I don't think I've seen him once decap this wreck point. Hasn't put a huge amount of pressure on the power either. He might regret it, but he is still looking in a pretty good shape here. What is this? Sluggers, you need to go and get that VP, fellas. In terms of armies, he's looking in good shape, but he's going to get down under 100 VPs here if he's not careful. And RiceMuncher, the resources are pouring in because he doesn't have a huge amount of upkeep like Crewfinity does. I do think he should have got that looted tank up instead of the flash kits. Certainly instead of this second flash kits. Did he get 2 flash kits? There's one. I thought I saw him purchasing one. Don't see them on the field right now, unless I'm blind, which is very possible. Kicking off here though. Force Commander runs away. He needs to, I think he needs to be cautious with that dreadnought. Doesn't want to get it way out in the field, because Nob Squad is still a threat, and he can get the beamy death gun for the Mekboy if he gets him back on his feet. The Weird Boy will also do some damage with these shots, and here we see the dreadnought doing its thing. There's the Emperor's Fist, foot of Gork on it. Did a decent chunk of damage there to the dreadnought. Now we see some friendly fire from the Weird Boy, so often seen from the Orks. Dreadnought getting some hits in, and the Nob Squad are persuaded to leave. Some more Terminators, I think, here from RiceMuncher. Assault again. Yes, more Assault Terminators. Wow, he might be turning this around. Can he get the claws up, though? Not right now he can, but relatively soon. Crewfinity has taken that contested VP. 96 VPs to 207. The amount of stuff RiceMuncher has been allowed to get here. I think his map should have been shut down a lot more. Easy for me to say, of course, but Crewfinity hasn't really done that in this game so far. Does bash the power there, though. I mean, look, he could have used one of these sluggers to decap that wreck point right now. Instead, he's blob capping on the VP. Force Commander coming in. They got the decap, but Force Commander can take it back, and these guys have claws now. Scouts repairing the dreadnought. Needs to try and get this big guy leveled up. Dreadnoughts are so badass. How can a walking sarcophagus not be badass? I'm sure he'd love to have a venerable dreadnought right now. Level 4 tactical marines. No plasma gun though. I think it's, is it 30 power to get a plasma gun these days? And they do like 30 DPS, I believe, these days also. Used to be like 26. There's those repairs. Trying to force down the force one as runs away. It's a good plan. Because now the Sacred Standard's off the field. Needs to try and be a little bit more careful of that when the Orks are approaching. Try and keep the Force Commander at the back so he can't be shot down so easily. But there he forces a full retreat from Crewfinity. The Nob squad do not want to engage by themselves, especially against a Dreadnought and Lightning Claw Terminators. That is a scary sight to see for Nobs. Look at them backing away. Not a lot can make them back off. 89 to 143, 2-1 cap for RiceMuncher. Tactical Marines with their quick capping, getting that Northeast VP this time. And shooting up this mech. He does have his beamy looter. His beamy death gun, I should say. No beamy looters around. He does have those mines still as well. Not sure if he's thrown them somewhere since he got back up. Don't see it. There's Dreadnought. Uh-oh. Tactical Marines in big trouble. He's going to lose them there. There's And They Shall Know No Fear. Might be able to save them to Dreadnought can get in. Needs to use Emperor's Fist right now. He's not using it. And he's going to lose the Tactical Marines, I think. Needed to use the Emperor's Fist right then. Oh, Tactical Marines are still alive. They're somehow still alive. Oh, but they do go down as a heroic last stand from those Tactical Marines. Takes out one of the sluggers. Well, I guess he couldn't use the Emperor's Fist there or something. Didn't use it. Not that I saw. Loses those tacs, but does get that VP right back. Those are level 4 Tactical Marines. They held up so well with And There Shall Know No Fear. Look at these scouts. Infiltrated and decapping. He's playing the VP game very well here, RiceMuncher. Trying to spread his forces and get that work done on the VPs. Dreadnought wants to come back towards base and be safe. There we go. Nob Squads did cap his natural, but he's going to get it back quickly and get the 2-1 again. I think 83, 1-2-3. I mean, if you had a graph of the losses for both players and the VPs over time, it would look very strange right now. RiceMuncher's had a VP lead since like halfway through Tier 2, I think. Maybe the entire game. Has Crewfinity ever had a VP lead? Needs to get one if he's going to win. It is a VP game mode. He can't just win all the fights. This Dreadnought's in a bad place. This Dreadnought needs to run away. Because the Mekboy is going to come in. Yeah, there he is. And the Weird Boy will get shots. And the Nobs will be there. This is a bad place for this Dreadnought to be. These Terminators need to teleport on that Mekboy here. Or I think the Dreadnought's going to fall. But he's getting sucked into fighting those Nobs. And the Dreadnought's going to go down. He could have saved it, I think, if he threw the Terminators onto the Mekboy. Although the Mekboy could have just teleported away, I guess. So there's no guarantee that would have saved it. But he does lose the Dreadnought. It was in a bad position. I guess he just wanted to defend the VP there. Throw everything he had at defending it. He's got a double cap. RiceMuncher. The scouts are back on the natural VP. And Terminators are being chased down here by sluggers and Nobs. And there's some mines thrown in for good measure. Down to a single model. Devastators might save them. Devastators, I think, will save them. That is so close. Oh, they still have 200 hit points. So they might have been okay anyway. They might have. Although the Nobs chasing them would have been bad. Especially since they could have frenzied into base. Level 4 devs. But how does he? Well, he's got a 2-1 cap and 8 VPs left for Crewfinity. Is RiceMuncher going to pull this off here? He's only got 7 VPs to whittle down. Done so good with these scouts. These scouts have been awesome. They are level 4. Never got shotguns as well. Crewfinity again. Look, I don't think he needs 3 units and a Weird Boy to take this VP back. Just park the shooters over there and the scouts won't be able to take it. Keep the rest of the guys on the contested and pressure the other VP over here, I guess. Devastator's going to get caught by sluggers. There's a single cap though, and he's going to get his own back. This is going to be a win for RiceMuncher. It is. Heroic Devastators at the end. Crewfinity kicking himself. I'm sure he's killed so much stuff. Going to be interesting to see that score screen at the end of the game, but he could not get the VPs locked down. Really struggled with that. just really wanted all of these units fighting all of the time, which gave them some great big wins. Oh, look at this. There was an orbital at the end over here too, which stopped the cap, and that might have been the thing that won it for him, because he would have got this VP back. Maybe it might not have been enough. Still might have not been enough, because he would have capped this, but this would have been capped as well, I think. So it might have been a very brief 2-1 to give him the victory. Either way, RiceMuncher gets it with a level 5 mech. We had a level 5 force commander. We had level 3 knobs, up over 5,000 hit points, and some awesome action. There we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.